Hey, welcome back to the channel. This will be the last video in the RX7 build. To start it off, I'm going to show you how I do the masking on the windshield. Then the Oshima kit comes with the window mask already, so they're pretty simple to use. They seem a little daunting at first, but they're not bad. You just got to peel them off. You saw how easy that come off. I told them with the tweezers. And then what you do is just line up. I like to do this edge and this corner and the upper corner here. You got to line it up against the frosted part. I don't know. Yeah, you can see it kind of right up there. Just get it in the light where you can see where it's at. And that's not exactly square, so if you don't press it down real hard, it'll peel right back off. Or at least it should. Maybe if I wasn't doing a video, it would have come off easy. One thing about these is, though, be very careful with them because they do stretch a little bit. So you don't want to get too rambunctious with peeling it off, because it will stretch and then it won't match at all. And then you'll have to come back in and do this the old-fashioned way. That's all there is to that. Then another tip is to wrap all the outside of that in tape. I've had to do these a couple of times, and it doesn't matter how many times I work on them, I will always end up covering the outside of the glass in paint overspray. Okay, now of course you got to come in here and you got to cover all that up because you don't want the driver's windows to be blacked out. Again, just kind of lay it up like that. Or if you really wanted to, you could also come in and just grind it off right here and then up around that corner, and then you can just have the window rolled down in it. Alright, that's all there is to that. I'm going to go get that airbrushed in the matte black and we'll get it glued into the car. So we're back with the windshield. That's all done. I've got it all painted underneath. It's looking really good. I popped on the rearview mirror. And next up we're going to put the windshield wipers on there, which is pretty simple. It's just this one As always, I like to put a little drop of super glue on top of the bottle. Just touch it there. Okay, clipped into the hole, push that down. And there's that one. Oh, no, that didn't stick. There we go. Okay, so I know everybody just saw that break. Alright, just a little quick off-camera work, and I got that windshield wiper looking perfect. I should have really fiddled with those a little more before I did that. That would have saved me a lot of trouble there. Okay, and they go on and they work perfect. Perfect. Okay, so next up, it's going to be the black trim around here. As you can see, I've already done the black trim around here. I've already brought out the panel lines on the side, and I know that looks really dark and there's a lot of contrast there. I did that deliberately. I did want to kind of give it a little bit of an anime look, a little cartoonish. I hate to say cartoonish for anime, but I hope you know what I mean. So we'll get on this with some tape and I'll show you how to paint the trim. For this project, I'm going to be using this 1mm wide flexible tape from Green Stuff World. I just barely got this in. I'm thinking of carrying this. If you guys have had any experience, let me know what you think of it. I personally am in love with it. So just lay out a bunch. And you don't really have to worry too much about how long you do it. If it's too short, you can always overlay it. That's not a big deal. I always like to start off in the corner. Since that's pretty much straight. Just run that up the side here. I know you can't see it on the camera, but I'm using the shadow from the light, or the reflection from the light, to see that line where it rolled and where it runs up. And yes, you saw that right. That did roll over that edge. That is set. That is perfect. I need to make that bend just a tiny, tiny bit sharper though. because this windshield has kind of a okay. As you can see, you can mess around with it quite a bit. It doesn't lose its tackiness. There we go. Okay. For the actual painting, I'm going to be using this Flexifile 5.0 brush. I don't know if you can see how fine that tip is on that, but it's super nice. And then just Tester Semi-Gloss Black. Alright, I'm actually just going to stop there. You know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to paint all that with the brush. It's going to take a little while. I don't want to bore you. I'll come back to that when we're done. Alright, so a few minutes of work off camera. That thing is done. You can see how good the line looks on that. Just peeled that tape right off and it's good to go. So now's the fun part. We got to put the, I'm going to glue this in place. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do that. If I want to do it with super glue or if I want to do it with the Tester's clear glue. I think Tester's clear glue is going to win that argument. The glue I'm going to use on that's just this Tester's Clear Part Cement. I love this stuff. It's pretty hard to goof up. It's got a really nice applicator tip on it. Okay. That's in there nice. Oops. Just going to hold that with my hand. I'm going to go around the outside of it with more glue. Make sure that's really glued in there. Okay, there's that. I'm going to actually throw a C-clamp on this to clamp that down and make sure it stays put. So when that's all dry, we'll come back to this. We'll finish up some of the other little detail parts we got to do, and we'll get this going. All right, we are just about to finish this project up. I have the one headlight in. It's pretty cool. It's popped up, looks good, fits in the hole nicely. It did take an awful lot of fiddly work with the file to make it fit perfectly, which brings me to a point that I do want to talk about. When you paint with 2K, it builds up a little bit. Automotive painters have problems with this. Custom guys do. It will build up on the edges, and it builds up a little bit thick. So kind of be careful of that if you plan to keep something and keep it painted without having to take the clear off to make things function or fit. Just always add in just a little bit for that. But like I said, we got that covered on this. So just have to put some super glue on the edges here. Okay. And then you just have to put that up in there like that. Come in from the bottom, make sure it's pushed in the way you need it to be. Hold it for a second, let that glue dry. Okay, and that's it. So cool, you got the little pop-up headlights on that. So next up we're going to do the driving lights that go in the corners here. Okay. Just give yourself a little idea where that's all going to go. Yeah. Okay. Again, see a little fog light there. That's cool. I don't know if the camera's picking that up real well or not. There, looks okay. All right, just that easy. And then, of course, I popped the headlight out. Okay, let me fix all this stuff off camera, and then I'll come back to this. There we go. We got it. Now it looks really cool with the popped up headlights, both of them, and the two driving lights. So the body's pretty much done. I glued the rear windshield on, and everything's looking good. All the trim looks good. The windshield, all the glass fits in there real nice. Everything's good. So that leaves us with the rear tail lights, and those are, as usual, going to be tester cement. Okay, that looks good. Then I'm going to show how I like to do lights here real quick, and then I'm gonna finish all the rest of the glass off screen. Once you see what I do, you really don't need to spend forever watching me do it again and again on this car. And then I'll come back and we'll get it glued together and we'll be done with it. I like to trim those off, then come back with a file. Okay, and then I like to take my Multal black liner marker, and you can use a regular Sharpie with this. You just got to be really careful because they're a little bit wide sometimes. But I like to just go right around the outside edge of the glass, just right on that edge. This actually was a tip given to me by a friend from my local UMAG club. And I don't know what it is. At first I didn't believe him when he told me about it, but it really does make those lenses look better. And taking the nub off is going to make them fit in the hole a lot better. Okay, just like that. Let me finish all the rest of those off, and then we'll get the car glued together and a couple other things done. I need to do the license plates and the decals. Then we'll be done with it. I'll be back in a second. And we are at the very, very end of this build. I have two more pieces to attach, and then we got to put the body onto the chassis, and then we just got to finish that up with some decals. So we'll get the license plates on here. Now, if you're a fan of the series, you'll know that the license in some of them they have just the white plate, and in some of the videos they have an actual license plate. And in this kit, they only give you the 2 initial D decals to go with the license plate, and that's not correct for pretty much any of them. So I just painted these white. I'm just going to leave them white. There's a little knot right there that sticks out, and that just pushes right onto it. I gotta be honest, that was a lot easier when it didn't have the glue on there. Okay. Just blow on that a little bit, get it to set, and it's set, and it's done, and that is actually everything is finished that needs to be constructed. So now it's just decals and just decals in the chassis, and we are going to be done. So let's get the chassis set up, and then we'll get the decals all going. Now on these kits, they have a little piece right here. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not, but there's a little channel that clips into the back of the chassis. And then in the front, there's these two holes that mount here. And on this one, I actually don't plan to glue it together. I don't think it needs to. I know that it goes in there very nicely, and it mounts very positively. So I think really you just have to get it all lined up nice and then put in. There's nothing more to it. Yeah, see, that just clipped right in there nice. There we go. Okay, now we got her. And then just got to stretch this out. Oops, push it in there. So that was a little too far. There we go. Okay. There we go. That's all done. See how good that thing looks? Has a really nice stance to it. Everything fits nice and flush like it's supposed to. The interior doesn't catch on the glass and force it down. It's a great thing about these Aoshima kits, man. There is no surprises in them. They just fit together perfectly. So now that that's done, we'll get the decals going. And the decals are actually pretty easy. It's just this RX7 decal. So they give you 2 of these. One's written in red, one's written in chrome. Or one's in silver, one's in red. One's supposed to be chrome, one's supposed to be red. I'm going to do the red one because I did the red seat. I don't know if that's 100% accurate or not for either of the anime shows. And also they give you these 2 different Red Suns decals. One's really small, one's bigger. I'm going to use the bigger ones. And I love these decals they put on the door. Power engine, accelerate and brake, Tokyo Express, just Tokyo Special, sorry, and Express. I just think that's really funny. Maximum speed. Okay. So I pull them out of the water, kind of daub off all the extra water on my leg. And I'll try to pull them just real gently with my thumb to see if they're going to move. This one's not, so it's got to go back in for a few more minutes. And I'll show you how easy this is. You have the Mazda logo there, and then you have the RX7 logo there, and then a Mazda logo on the hood there. And then you just got the door call-out sheet and the red suns, and that's all the decal work there is to be done on these. So we'll just get all that finished up here, and really it's just it's honestly just kind of a rerun of what I showed when I did the dash. I don't really do decals differently based on interior or exterior or anything like that. I always just kind of do them the same. Okay, and then that's come right off. Just grab that by the edge. Right on the back right there. Top it down and soak up some of the paper with the Q-tip. That off-centered it. So we got to get back in there, get it recentered. That looks good. Hurry and hit it with a tiny amount of Solvaset, and that's done. That's basically how I'm going to do all the rest of the decals. I know you've all seen the interior. You just watch me do that. I don't think you need to watch me do the rest of these. So I'll get them all finished up, and then I'll come back and show you what we got finished, what our finished product looks like. Okay, it is done, and as you can see, it looks great. These Yoshima kits, I think it really captured the feel of the car from the anime. It's not an RX-7, it's that RX-7. And I think, just the detail is perfect. Everything went together flawlessly. I can't say enough about the kit. If you're into anime and you're into the Initial D series at all, this is definitely one worth picking up. And thanks again for watching all the videos. Please like and subscribe. If there's anything else you want to see me build, let me know. And I will see you on the next video.